The 1980 IFBB Mr. Olympia would see the return of bodybuilding legend Arnold Schwarzenegger on stage, after 5 years of no competition. It also would be Arnold's last Mr. Olympia title. After the contest, Mike Mentzer ended his bodybuilding career at the young age of 29. This Mr. Olympia is one of the most controversial in bodybuilding and Olympia history. The controversy began when Arnold announced that he would be competing in the show. He had retired from bodybuilding since his victory in the 1975 Mr. Olympia. He was now busy in the world of Hollywood. No one suspected that he would be competing. Arnold showed up the night of the show, which shocked the audience, judges, and competitors alike. His fellow competitors disliked his sudden return due to the way he had presented himself. Another cause for controversy was that Arnold had been promoting the Mr. Olympia since his retirement from professional bodybuilding. So in the years that Franco Colombo and Frank Zane were winning the Mr. Olympia, Arnold was a promoter of the contest. This also rubbed people the wrong way. His role as a promoter made him close with all the promoters and judges, and many people believed these connections made Arnold win the contest. The final reason for controversy was that Arnold was not in top form to win the Olympia. Since his retirement, he had started a career in Hollywood. In 1980, he was busy with his role in Conan Barbarian, and for the role, he had started training again. And 8 weeks before the competition, he decided that he should compete, without letting anybody know. 8 weeks is a very short time to prep for a show in bodybuilding, and to win the Mr. Olympia with 8 weeks of training is an extreme performance. We can see in these pictures that Arnold looks worse in all aspects compared to his previous competitions in the 70s. He still looked good, and his trademark biceps were still there, but he lacked the winning look. The 1980 Mr. Olympia had one of the most competitive lineups in bodybuilding history. Of course you had Arnold, but also Frank Zane, Mike Mentzer, Tom Platz, Chris Dickerson, Ken Waller, and Dennis Tenorino. Frank Zane was the defending champion, and Mike Mentzer was aiming at defeating Zane in 1980. Both men were the favorites for the title. If you look at the eventual results, on the other hand, you can see that Mike and Frank weren't even close to the top two. But it is worth mentioning that Zane had been injured going into the contest. This would maybe explain his lesser placing. In first place was Arnold Schwarzenegger. In second place was Chris Dickerson. In third place, Frank Zane. In fourth place, Boyer Coe. And in fifth place, Mike Mentzer. This year's Mr. Olympia had 16 competitors, which was for the time an all-time high. As I mentioned, Frank Zane and Mike Mentzer were the favorites, and when Mike placed fifth in the contest, he decided to end his career in bodybuilding at the young age of 29. This surprised the bodybuilding world, as people saw Mike competing and winning in the Mr. Olympia for years to come. But Mike was convinced that the contest was rigged. Frank Zane reportedly smashed his trophy against the wall backstage, and Chris Dickerson jumped off the stage and screamed that he could not believe it. What made this Mr. Olympia even more controversial was that Frank Zane, Mike Mentzer, Boyer Coe, and Ken Waller boycotted next year's Mr. Olympia, and all of them stuck to their promise and did not compete in the 1981 Mr. Olympia, except Ken Waller. That was the 1980 Mr. Olympia, Arnold's last and most controversial Mr. Olympia victory to date, and the end of the bodybuilding career of Mike Mentzer. This was the Muscular Historian. For more videos on Golden Era bodybuilding, check out the link in the description.